Well, hello dear friends from Colombo, Sri Lanka. Normally I don't start the video on the train, but and I'll save you some of the details, but it was a bit of a mad dash from the airport to Colombo to the train station. I only had a couple hours from when I landed to get to the ticket office, pick up my pre-purchase ticket, and then get to the train station. So luckily I basically slid right through customs, which made it a lot easier to sort of get in the cab and make it to the city. But then I had to actually grab the ticket at the ticket station and then also make it to the train station. So I made it with about 20 minutes to spare, which is pretty tight for flying out of India, landing in Sri Lanka, getting through customs, getting my bag, getting to the ticket office, and then getting to the train station. So luckily I made it. I did have a plan B as well, but I'm glad I'm here, I'm on the train, and so I'm on the train to Sigiriya. So I'll be there for a couple days exploring that area and then other cities in Sri Lanka to follow. So. Well, good morning, dear friends from Sigiriya, Sri Lanka. So I'm starting today out at the Lion's Rock. It's basically a fortress that was built out of a mountain side. And you can come here and visit it and climb to the top. All right, so I'm probably maybe halfway to the top here. There's a little landing after some of the stairs. It's a bit of it's pretty strenuous. So I think with the heat and the combination of the humidity and a little bit of altitude, it's important to take it pretty slow. You know, I feel like you could probably get overheated pretty quickly. Also, one of the dangers of this climb is apparently there are huge hornet and wasp nests up here. And so there are a lot of signs urging folks to be quiet and not attract attention to themselves. So I guess flying drones up here is one of those definite no-nos, because I guess it attracts the wasps to attack. So you won't find any drones up here. So they urge you to be fairly quiet, because they don't want you to be attacked by wasps, which is always a good thing. You don't want to cause a wasp attack, so make sure you follow all the instructions. It's just the majesty of this place is amazing. You know, you look around and you're just, you're captured by the views that it offers. You know, a lot of the climb, you're sort of climbing up these metal staircases that are bolted to the side of the rock face. It's a pretty, really an amazing climb up to the site itself. And then of course, once you get up here, you have these amazing panoramic views of the countryside that I imagine are really difficult to be matched anywhere else. Just really gorgeous. So the Lion Rock, you know, its history is basically it reads like a Shakespearean tragedy. The king decided to kill his father to take over the kingdom and exiled his brother, and eventually moved here to build this fortress because he'd created so many enemies. So he starts building the fortress, and then of course his brother in exile builds an army, returns to the kingdom. The king realizes that his brother's returned with an army, and he kills himself. So it ends like a tragedy here. The fortress is never completed before the brother killed himself. So there's an irony in the whole process. So I'm at the Kaudulla National Park. I'm doing a Jeep safari here. This park has been here since 2002. It's I think one of 14 or 15 national parks in Sri Lanka. You can hire a kind of a Jeep safari tour to go on this area. You drive through and see the wildlife and the foliage, and it seems like a great experience. Should be noted, we'll set you back about $40 US. So again, another kind of expensive excursion in Sri Lanka compared to things like meals and accommodations. So, but you know, this is an area that's helping protect a lot of the natural areas in Sri Lanka, and there's a lot of wildlife, elephants, and various other things that you can see on a trip like this. And you get to ride in the back of this really cool Jeep, which is kind of fun. So I've seen a few things. I've seen some water monitors. I've seen a couple different types of monkeys. It's a really accessible park that, you know, once you get into the park, you can sort of stand up in your Jeep. You get a really good view of the surrounding area. The park also, the entrance fee also includes a park ranger that rides with you to make sure that you stay safe, the park stays safe, and they're great at answering all their questions that you have. They know the park in and out, so it's nice to have somebody that knows what they're talking about and can point to things that you may miss otherwise. So we've stopped in front of about 19 or 20 elephants, just a varying, you know, group. There's males, there's some females, there's some babies, a couple little tinies in there, and they eat about 250 kilos a day. They drink about 150 liters of water, and they walk about 35 miles a day throughout the day, just sort of grazing and walking. And there are 3 different parks here, and they'll move from one park to the other based on the weather and their comfort, and they sort of move in a circular pattern through the parks as they make their way through each of them in each area. So they'll spend more time in one park based on the weather and the conditions, and then move on to the next one, and just sort of keep rotating, keeping themselves happy in their environment. So the difference between these elephants and maybe some other elephants that you might see in a place like Thailand or some other places, these are wild elephants. These are elephants that were born and live in this national park. This is not an elephant sanctuary. They don't bring elephants here to retire. This is the natural habitat for these elephants, and they're all living here, born, and live their lives out and die in this park as just wild elephants. And so they have everything they need here. They have the lake for the water, and the other elephants in their group, and then the grass, of course. Well, good morning, dear friends. So here in Sri Lanka, Sigiriya, there are 2 hills. This one is Pidurangala, and it is, you know, opposite the Lion Rock. A lot of folks will make this climb to watch sunrise. It's beautiful up here, and got up here, it's about 5:30 now. Sunrise, I think, is about 5:55 or so. So it looks like it's going to be beautiful up here. It's a pretty strenuous hike. It's mostly steps. There's a few scrambles over boulders that you have to do to get up here. So some of the blogs about this I read say that it's an easy hike. It's easy for the most part. There's definitely some tight areas that you have to scramble over. So just be aware, it's not all steps. There's some actual rocks and boulders that you have to kind of maneuver over. But if you're used to strenuous hikes, you should be okay. I would say it probably took about 20 or 25 minutes, maybe a little longer. It's a pretty decent group of folks up here, maybe 20 or 25 folks that have gotten up early to come up and see the sunrise. So it's a popular spot to watch the sunrise, and then a lot of folks will climb Lion Rock after or the next day. So most people split their time between the two. Do one day and one the other, or one during sunrise and one during sunset. That's another possibility. But the colors are just now starting to light up the sky. The valley is just full of mist. You can hear birds throughout the valley below. Tickets are 1,000 rupees, so considerably less than Lions Rock. So if you're on a budget and you need to climb just one, this one would be the one to do. Originally, Lions Rock, there was a monastery on top of that before the king decided to build a fortress. And so he ordered the monastery to move to this rock. And so that's where the monastery is relocated to this one, Pidurangala. And then the king decided to build his fortress on the other Lion Rock.